Welcome back to the deep dive. If you feel like the whole world is holding its breath right now, you are definitely not alone. Today, we're doing a deep dive into the future, specifically the year 2026. And this isn't about New Year's resolutions. People are focused on New Year's predictions. And for some reason, that specific date is where a huge amount of global analysis and even ancient prophecy seems to be converging.
It's a fascinating mix, isn't it? We've got geopolitical papers, economic forecasts, and then these historical claim analyses, and they all seem to paint a picture of intense technological acceleration and geopolitical risk, maybe hitting some kind of flashpoint.
Exactly. So we're doing a dual deep dive today, really focusing on two major threads that seem to be on everyone's mind. First, why is it claimed that the revered Sufi mystic Muhyiddin Ibn al Arabi described the year 2026 as, quote, inauspicious? And second, what do all these contemporary warnings, in the media and pop culture, often with names like Nostradamus and Baba Vanga attached, what do they actually suggest for that year?
And that blend of the ancient and the hypermodern is what makes this moment so unique. Our sources show this intense attention being paid, not just to historical prophecy, but to modern symbolic warnings. I mean, people are obsessively dissecting annual covers from publications like The Economist, looking for these coded messages about the future.
You can really feel that anxiety in the air.
Huh.
Okay, let's unpack this. Starting with, I think, one of the most hotly debated visual documents out there, The Economist's annual cover. It's often read like a visual roadmap for what's coming.
It really is. For a certain segment of, the well-informed public, these covers are more than just journalism. They're interpreted as symbolic warnings or even coded intentions about global affairs. People often look back after some huge world event and claim the cover hinted at it months in advance. And of course, the 2026 one is being scrutinized to the millimeter.
And the centerpiece is just immediately striking. It's a large birthday cake frosted in red, white, and blue with the number 250 on it, which is critical because 2026 marks the United States' 250th anniversary, its quarter millennium of democracy.
And this is where we have to dig a little deeper than just the surface level. The analysis we've reviewed suggests that a magazine known for using this kind of careful, loaded symbolism, it's just unlikely to represent such a critical milestone with just a simple cake.
Especially with all the chaos happening around it.
Exactly.
It feels less like a party and more like a signpost. The common commentary seems to be saying, this isn't a celebration, this is a turning point.
Yeah.
Everything around that cake is just filled with imagery of disorder. You've got drone swarms, broken economic charts, rockets, and some really unsettling medical imagery.
Right. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the interpretation is pretty sobering. America's 250th year might mark a transitional phase, the kind of thing you often see at the historical peak of former empires. It signals a moment of maximum structural stress, where the old established world order begins to fade or at least transition.
Yeah.
And that gives way to a new global struggle for dominance.
That sets the stage perfectly for why everyone is so focused on the details. So let's pivot to those surrounding elements of disorder because they seem to hint at a completely new kind of global threat. Here's where it gets really interesting. If you look up at the sky in that image, there's a dense swarm of drones filling the air. Some are emitting signals, others are clearly locked onto targets. What are we supposed to conclude from this heavy use of drone imagery?
The analysis we've seen suggests it points toward future wars being fundamentally transformed. Instead of large armies, the defining conflicts of 2026 could be fought by these extremely cheap, autonomous network robotics systems.
So drone swarms.
Drone swarms, exactly. And they're almost impossible to detect and neutralize once they're deployed en masse.
And they're not alone up there. Those drones are flying alongside these prominently displayed radar-emitting satellites. This isn't just a ground war, it's an orbital one, too.
Precisely. This highlights the severe technological risks suggested for 2026 in the sources. We're talking about space-based surveillance, global signal interference. I mean, risks like satellite sabotage that could potentially just collapse the communication networks we rely on for everything. Banking, navigation, everything.
It's the sky and near-Earth orbit. It's no longer empty space. It's an arena.
It's an arena of technological and digital conflict weaponized from above.
Okay, so moving from the sky down to the human body, we see another really jarring element. Scattered pills and syringes. This is pretty widely interpreted as a symbol of the fragility of, modern global healthcare. But why is it right next to rockets and political figures.
Well, the chaotic spread of this medical imagery suggests that global health is now fragmented. It's split among massive pharmaceutical corporations, competing governments, and other powerful new structures. And that combination of medical and military symbols, it sends a powerful and, frankly, a chilling message that future conflicts may increasingly take place within the human body itself.
Within the body. Okay, but is that jump from medical symbols straight to lab-engineered warfare? Is that a consensus reading, or is that the most speculative take from the sources?
What's fascinating here is that the sources aren't saying this is confirmed. They're just reflecting a very high-stakes, realistic anxiety. It points toward biotechnology-based threats, things leveraging advances like CRISPR or synthetic biology for malicious ends. The new geopolitical battleground becomes who controls the data, who controls the remedies, and who controls the biological tools of alteration. It's a hidden struggle.
That connection leads directly into the third major theme on the cover: automation and, more disturbingly, control over human thought. We see a robot figure, which is the obvious stand-in for the unstoppable rise of automation, the displacement of human labor.
Right. But the symbol right next to the robot is the key. It's this vibrant red human brain connected by a cable to a video game controller. This suggests something far beyond just job loss. The bold suggestion here is that in the future, it's not just machines, but human minds themselves that may be open to influence and manipulation.
Which is a direct nod to the real-world discussions happening right now around neurotechnology. I mean, this isn't sci-fi anymore.
Absolutely. This imagery just echoes the intense discussions around brain-computer interfaces, or BCIs, like Neuralink. The idea is that AI could be used for behavioral influence.
No.
It essentially brings the conflict into the realm of cognition, of consciousness.
Right. If you control the data flows that influence the input to these devices.
You control the perception of reality.
And it's interesting, this idea has already seeped into popular culture. You know, it acts as a kind of societal pressure valve. Our sources mentioned that discussion about symbolic scenes from The Simpsons, a show famous for its eerie accuracy, showing a BCI-type device being controlled by some powerful external entity.
That's a perfect example.
It shows the collective anxiety about mind control isn't new, but the tech is finally catching up to the fear.
And that's it. The cover isn't inventing the fear. It's confirming that this specific anxiety about technological overreach is reaching a critical mass in 2026.
Okay, shifting back to the more traditional geopolitical players on the cover, we see these key leader figures. There are three suited figures, usually interpreted as, China, Russia, and the European bloc. And then there's a red-capped figure. Our sources note this is commonly interpreted in online forums as representing a key political nationalist figure. Others just suggest it symbolizes populism globally. But regardless of who it is, the key is the position directly facing two large crossed swords.
And those crossed swords signify the escalating U.S.-China rivalry. But the crucial insight for 2026 is the new form of conflict being suggested. This rivalry is fought less and less with conventional armies and more through control of key technological domains.
The race for chip manufacturing.
Exactly. Chip manufacturing dominance, AI development superiority, and control of crucial data flows.
So it's a data war, or a tech supply chain war, not a territorial one.
Precisely. The commentary suggests the focus is on maintaining or disrupting those supply chains. Whoever controls the hardware and the software that powers global commerce, communication, and warfare, they hold the real power.
And finally, there are rockets everywhere. They clearly imply confrontation, not peaceful space missions. And it's really unsettling that some are shown right alongside those pills and syringes, hinting back at that fusion of biotechnology and weaponry.
So to summarize the whole vision of the cover, the conflict suggested for 2026 is hyper-complex. It's happening simultaneously across land, air, cyberspace, and space, and within the biological and cognitive spheres. It's a multi-domain conflict on overdrive, all converging on the moment America marks its 250th year, suggesting a period of, maximal instability for the current global system.
That gives us a really dense, detailed symbolic warning based on current anxieties. So now let's transition from this very modern symbolic analysis to the metaphysical interpretations, the ancient prophecies circulating about 2026.
The discussion around prophecy is just intense right now. Claims attributed to 16th century writers like Nostradamus and the 20th century Bulgarian seer Baba Vanga, they're getting a lot of attention. But the most widely debated claim, the one that really caught our eye in the historical material, concerns the Islamic philosopher and Sufi mystic Muhyiddin Ibn al Arabi.
Let's start there. For anyone unfamiliar, who was Ibn al Arabi, and why is his supposed 2026 prediction suddenly making waves?
He was a colossal figure living in the 12th and 13th centuries. A polymath who wrote extensively on metaphysics, cosmology, theology. He's often called the greatest master. The claim that's circulating globally is that in his very complex writings, he uses certain calendrical or symbolic calculations that point to 2026 as a date of great significance.
Specifically an inauspicious time.
Exactly, an inauspicious time.
But did he really predict something specifically about this year, or is this more a matter of, retrospective numerical gymnastics?
It's pretty much the latter, mixed with a very contemporary need for an explanation. The debate revolves entirely around interpretation of symbolic language and numerology found in these classical texts. The fact is that a claim about Ibn al-Arabi warning about 2026 is circulating so widely, that in itself tells you something.
It shows a deep societal need for guidance, or a warning.
Yes, almost as if modern symbolic anxiety is seeking validation from deep historical authority.
And that need for certainty, it extends to other major prophetic figures. What about the claims attributed to Nostradamus and Baba Vanga that people are linking to 2026?
Well, with Nostradamus, the claims are always vague, right? They're widely interpreted. But for 2026, the circulation centers on quatrains that are being read to mean significant environmental upheaval and military confrontations involving some kind of unlikely alliance. Some interpretations point toward mass famine linked to climate events, and a specific quatrain is being linked to a new form of conflict fought on the seas.
And Baba Vanga, the Bulgarian mystic known for her supposed predictions of major world events, what's being attached to 2026 for her?
Vanga's claims are usually a bit more concrete, but again, often recorded and interpreted after she died. The popular reading for 2026 suggests two main themes. First, a global economic crisis leading to significant social breakdown.
Which aligns perfectly with the broken economic charts on the Economist cover.
Perfectly. And second, there are claims about a powerful new illness emerging from the frozen north, maybe related to thawing permafrost.
Which speaks directly to those biotech and health anxieties we just discussed.
It all connects.
So whether it's 16th century quatrains, 20th century Bulgarian seers, or 12th century mystics, 2026 has become this focal point. It's like every anxiety, ancient and modern, has been projected onto this single point in time. So what does this all mean? We've covered these symbolic media warnings of chaotic transition data wars, drone swarms, neural influence, and then these ancient claims of an inauspicious timing. The common thread, the thing that unites the geopolitical analysis and the prophecy, is this sense of immense, unprecedented transition. And it's driven overwhelmingly by technology and shifting geopolitical power.
And this is the crucial point for you to consider. The depth of this fixation isn't just because of a birthday on a calendar. Many of the conflict themes we've identified in the symbolic warnings, the drone swarms, AI influence, biotech warfare, these are not theoretical sci-fi concepts. They are rooted in existing or emerging technologies and geopolitical tensions that are unfolding today. This is critical analysis, not fantasy.
And that overlap is what makes the 2026 fixation so powerful for the global imagination. So is the current obsession with the year due to genuine mystical prophecy that transcends time, or is it simply a heightened societal anxiety? Are we just seeing a collective reflection of the very complex, high-stakes trajectory of our current technology and politics, all wrapped up in emotionally compelling symbolism?
It raises an important question, doesn't it? What predictions are truly mystical? And what is just highly critical analysis of current events, presented in a compelling visual language that gives people permission to worry? When the symbolic warnings and the ancient prophecies start echoing the same fears, economic collapse, high-tech war, global disease, is that a coincidence? Or is it the human mind effectively calculating the future based on its current course?
Something for you to mull over as you watch the global stage turn toward that quarter millennium mark and the inevitable convergence of technology and history. That's all the time we have for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.